Hello everybody, welcome to Gregg's Vintage Workshop, where I'm restoring history one piece at a time. Tonight we're just going to do an intro to my next project, which is a 1929 Victor R32 TRF tuned radio frequency radio. In 1929, Victor had not merged with RCA yet, and you know it as RCA Victor, but this is just a Victor. This particular radio also came as a combination radio turntable record player. Mine does not have that. This particular radio I purchased over 2 years ago at an estate sale in Rock Island, Illinois. It was the second day of the estate sale, and if anybody goes to estate sales, you know full price is on the first day. I think second day is like 75% and third day is 50%. Well, I wasn't expecting to find this radio, but I saw it sitting over in a corner with the $200 price tag on it on day 2, which I couldn't afford that and wouldn't pay that, but I did like the looks of the cabinet, even though it was all dirty and obviously old. I liked the looks of it, and when I looked in the back it looked like it was all there. So I offered them $75 and they took me up on my offer, so I got it. What I hadn't planned on was this thing being full of cast iron and weighing about 200 pounds. Luckily they had a young man that helped me get it into my car, but boy, I had a heck of a time once I got it home getting it into my house. Anyway, I took all the insides out, the amplifier, the radio, and the speaker, brought them down to my workshop over 2 years ago, and left the cabinet upstairs where we have it decorated, cleaned up, decorated. My wife uses it for some storage and stuff. But now I'm ready to get this baby working. I mean, it's got some history. You think about 1929, that's the year of the big stock market crash. I mean, this was a high-end radio back then. This was not a cheap radio. And it's very well possible that whoever owned this radio was listening to it when the stock market crashed. They may have committed suicide over the stock market crash. Who knows? Maybe my imagination's running wild. But anyway, I wanted to make sure I could do justice to this radio before I touched it. I wanted to have a few under my belt, which I have now, and I feel confident that I can get this old girl working again. So without further ado, let me get this intro started. I will get you off of the tripod and I will show you what I've got down here in the workshop. What you're looking at is a 1929 Victor radio. It's an R32. I don't know, it's kind of dim in my living room, but hopefully you can see that. The actual radio has been removed by myself about 2 years ago. I bought this about 2 years ago. As you can see, it's collecting other antiques on it right at the moment, but I think this is what we're going to work on next. So that's the cabinet. I figured I'd show you that, and let's go down in the workshop and see the radio itself. Okay, what you see on that lower shelf where Moose is laying just above it is the 1929 Victor radio. Say hi to the camera, Moose. His brother Dodger is right here by my leg. That's who you hear behind me there. So anyway, down on top of it is the speaker. That's the radio section. That's the power and amplifier section. Let me get them up on the bench and I'll get you back on a tripod and we'll take a little bit closer look at them. As you guys can see, I've got the bench all cleaned off, ready for the next project. I figured I'd show you that before I pick it all up and stick it on there. Alright, I got all 3 pieces on the workbench, and they are filthy and covered in shredded cat hair. So I'm going to take you back off the tripod, show you each piece individually slightly, And then I'm going to take my vacuum cleaner and vacuum some cat hair off of this stuff before we go any further. Alright, this is the speaker. The cone actually looks like it's in very good shape. We've got a gasket that goes around right here that separates it from the actual cabinet of the radio. And being stupid like I was in the very beginning before I really even got into this stuff, I cut the wires from the harness on the amplifier. I at least labeled them because I didn't realize that was a plug. Duh. Anyway, oh well. So that's it. That baby is a monster and a lot of cast iron in it, very heavy. This is the power amplifier. I have the tubes for this. They're all out because I don't know, several months ago I was in a tube testing frenzy. I figured I had everything out and fired up, I'd test everything. There were quite a few bad ones in this, but I'll get some good ones when I'm to that point. So this is the front. I do have the knobs. They're in a bag somewhere. The way this is supposed to work is you rotate this knob, which is very stiff, and as you can see it moves it. You're also supposed to be able to slide it. That doesn't work that way. Whatever mechanisms are inside are obviously froze up. This is the volume feels very rough and terrible, and this I think is the tone if I remember correctly. And then down here is an on-off switch very similar to what I had on the Atwater Camp 55C. So anyway, let me vacuum some of this filth off of these, and we'll get a little bit closer look for the intro. Alright, I cleaned some of the filth off. Not good, just some of the filth off. I blew the cat hair off and just sprayed a little crap on there to make it a little bit more presentable, so we can take a little bit closer look at it. So, looks like we have a little evidence of some mice being on here, which isn't good for maybe what might be down inside there, but a little bit of rust here and here. I think this will all clean up really nicely, so I'm not too worried about that. So this is the radio portion, and it uses a 26 there, a 26 there. Now back then I put a 2 in front of it, so it was a 226, but 26, 26, 26, 26, 26, and a 27 tube. The amplifier power unit, this was an 80, this was a 45, I think. Let me look back down on there a little bit more. Yep. So an 80, a 45, a 45, and another 26. So 80, 45, 45, 26. Pretty sure this was the power in cord. I think it's the power in. I think that's where you plugged in for the phonograph if it had the phonograph. I could be backwards on that. That might be the power in, and that might be the phonograph. I don't know. That's obviously the plug to plug the speaker in. This is the big plug that connects the amplifier to the radio. Here's the speaker. The cone doesn't look half bad. It's got a felt here. The felt feels pretty good. The way this speaker is designed, you're probably not going to be able to get it to do anything. I think it's the actual speaker itself that pulls in and out, and this is not going to show it to you because this ZE1 can't get close enough. But anyway, this is going to be the next project, and I wanted to give you guys a intro for it. Not super long, but just to give you a teaser, and stay tuned for part 1 of the Victor, the 1929 Victor R32 TRF radio. Thank you for watching Gregg's Vintage Workshop.